one. Spags, so much has changed since we last did a stream together. You are now a solo streamer. I became a man at a bachelor party. I drafted a 0 RB team this morning. Everything is new in the world.
Yeah, you got a little wild on your bachelor party. Pete was eating donuts, so we're going to talk about that after this intro. We're also going to dig in, spinning the multi-table of madness here over on Underdog. Going to draft according to the wheel in 2 drafts at once. So if you're complaining that you sometimes don't get in the streams that we're doing, or the drafts that we're doing on stream, rather, today is your chance to do that. We also have a rookie tight end. You might want to know now that even Pete, I didn't tell him this. He's going to be surprised right after this intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Splash Play, the fantasy football podcast for every game under the sun. And once again, I'm Chris Spags, joined by your friend and mine, the returning Peter Overzet. Pete, how are you doing? And how are you feeling after drafting a somewhat 0 RB team this morning?
Yeah, and Bullock apparently is not counting it as a 0 RB team. I'm sorry, I took Cam Akers at pick 56. And I honestly, I was entirely justified to. I was like, I'll stubbornly just jam 0 RB to give the people what they want. Then everyone just drafted wide receivers like crazy. And it's why I don't do it in that draft. I get stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'm so sick of drafting with all of our viewers. I just want to retreat to, I don't know, a monastery in the mountains where I can just draft in peace.
I mean, honestly, so I have to send Pete this screenshot now because I actually did a couple drafts before the show, and we're going to get to all the plugs and all that stuff, but I want to send Pete this screenshot, and unfortunately didn't do it in advance. And I'm going to shout this guy out completely as being somebody that absolutely ruined what I was trying to do in this draft today. And I'm just going to send you his team, Pete, as a screenshot, but I'm going to call him out. Dr. Drippin. Dr. Drippin is officially my best ball arch nemesis now, where this team that he took today, completely illogical in a way that I have not seen very often, took Tua Tagovailoa at the 13th overall pick, Pete. I'm texting it to you right now. If Pete can pull it up on the screen, but also just like ruined every construct I had. And this kind of fits the thing we were talking about a couple weeks ago, where Pete's like, yeah, if guys are taking random, terrible structured, drafts on best ball, like it's fine. You can still kind of work around it. When these guys are scooping you on plays 7 rounds ahead of ADP, that you're like building a stack carefully correlated. And I don't pay attention, Pete. I'm not looking at the board the entire time. So it ruined everything I was doing. And I was just like on my toes in a way, anxiety at every turn.
What this still hasn't come through, so I haven't. You might just here I just got it coming through here, so I'll pull this up in a second. Yeah, it's so fun, and this is why I tilt when I talk about my stream drafts, because no one ever does this when I'm live streaming. No one ever goes completely off the rails. It's all these GTO bros drafting smartly, but here you have dripping and ripping, Russ, Tua, Rodgers, Burrow, Marcus Mariota, bully QB build. Very balanced here. I love the single tight end. I love the idea. I mean, this is clearly an auto draft, but it's funner to imagine that they intentionally did this.
So he also did. So I did 2 drafts. I like to multi-table in my free time, Pete. We've talked about, I think you mentioned on Best Ball Breakfast this morning, that the puppy draft is now, I think, 60% full. So I'm trying to jam my entries in to make sure I actually can max that one out in time. So I'm multi-tabling. Dr. Drippin was in both of my drafts this morning, and he also did the same tight end, 1 tight end build. That one, though, he took his tight end, Brevin Jordan, in the last round. But you could see opening with Russell Wilson at 12, pick 2 at the 13, Aaron Rodgers ahead of Joe Burrow, taking those guys back to back. When somebody's drafting like this, Melvin Gordon, Pete, in the 3rd round. And, I love Melvin Gordon. He's probably about 8 rounds too early for Melvin Gordon. It's just illogical at every single turn.
Bullock, are you aware that people can set their own ranks and queues on Underdog? That would probably explain the Melvin Gordon pick at pick 36. So maybe what we really need is an investigative series, behind the draft, where, Underdog is able to, give us some IP address information, and we are able to track down these individuals and really ask how did the sausage truly get made on this draft?
Honestly, I would like to believe that he's doing it just to ruin my life, is what that felt like, is having to be a part of that experience. But yeah, 2 bad teams from Dr. Drippin. I hope that it works out well for him. And honestly, very unique structure, as Short Gamer points out, Pete. So maybe this is the kind of thing that can get into your next Best Ball Bros video.
Yeah, that's the next evolution too. First, the kind of justify anything you do. You first said, what if he's the guy you need week 17? And now this morning, Willis was calling me out for passing on Kittle and Waller in a build where I definitely could have been justified to take them. And I just said, well, I just want to get unique because most people take Kittle and Waller in that spot. So that's your ripcord justification right there. Just say, I was just trying to get unique.
Yeah, you take Melvin Gordon in the third, you're getting about as unique as can get. That's probably one of 5 lineups, I think, that'll have Melvin Gordon going that high, barring some catastrophic retirement from Javonte Williams deciding that football is just not for him. We are here, guys. Of course, Monday, Thursday, Friday are the Splash Play shows. Monday and Thursday will be me and Pete. Friday, the new Spags solo streams that are, Pete, got people buzzing, including you in the chat. Honestly, I will say, rattling me, just being there, knowing that you were watching. I think Frankie, one of our good friends, of course, over at the Pasta House Company, helping us imagine the possibilities time and time again on the show. He had chimed in saying hour 2 was where I really hit my stride. And I do feel like, Pete, just having you there, it's like having a parent watch over you as you're trying to learn how to dribble a basketball. And frankly, threw me a little bit of a curveball that I wasn't expecting.
That was actually my intention. You probably thought selfishly I was trying to support you. No, I was just there to make you feel more and more rattled. I had a great time. Really enjoyed. I only got to catch like the first 30 minutes before I hopped in the car, but it was great to watch you squirm and hit your stride. I did not watch the rest of it back, but I am glad to hear that you are now thriving in hour 2 as a streamer.
Yeah, we're doing some more over on the Splash Play channel. So if you're only watching Splash Play on Peach channel, of course, you're welcome to keep doing that. That's where the chat's the most lively. So make sure you come hang out with us live on Peach channel. But also for those Friday streams, they're going to be Splash Play YouTube channel exclusive. So go check them out. Also, we're making some improvements on there, trying to do the best we can to be YouTube optimizers. So I have a safety net for any career moves that I make in my life. But no, we just want to build Splash Play up. And I think that's the goal there. And we appreciate all of you guys coming to hang out. But of course, subscribe, hit the like button, do all that stuff. Question here, Pete, that you're popping up on the screen. Position limits. You want to walk people through this important part of how they're doing their underdog drafts.
Yeah, I'm actually glad because I haven't adjusted mine yet this season. So this will be a good opportunity to do this. But yeah, so if you go to your rankings and then hit NFL, and then there's the one tab with rankings, and there's the other tab with limits here. Let's see, in the scenarios where I get auto drafted, I personally don't want to take more than but that'll be bad because this will actually overrule you if you actually need a 3 quarterback build.
Oh.
Running backs, I can't imagine ever taking more than 8. Tight ends can never imagine taking more than 3. Maybe wide receivers. It actually maxes you out on here as at 10 unless you take it away from or no. So it isn't going to let me, but you can draft 11 wide receivers. I'm not really sure how that works then.
Maybe they don't want you spamming auto draft 11 receivers and just completely ruining the game.
Maybe that's why it's such an edge, because the auto drafters can't get to 11 wide receivers.
Yes. Yeah, so is that the new meta, Pete? Drafting 11 receivers because you can only do that by hand.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. How we beat the best ball opto bros is by handcrafting our 11 boutique wide receiver lineups.
So make sure you're following at Peter Overzet, follow at Chris Spags, follow at Splash Play Pod as well. Of course, that's where you're going to know whenever we're doing shows. Of course, Pete doing a bunch of his own streams as well. So check all that stuff out. And we got to hit some bummer news up top, Pete, but I think it's a big talking point on social media. And I'm really tired of talking about Deshaun Watson news on this show because, frankly, it's hard to talk about in any way. You can't have fun with it at this point. 24th accuser coming forward to sue him over his conduct, typically in massages, I guess. His attorney also gave a quote saying that he thinks the NFL will, quote unquote, make a decision that he won't like. I thought initially that he was trying to give him a life raft, so that they could say like, oh, we're so disappointed he's going to get 2-game suspension because we've been cleared on all the criminal charges, blah, blah, blah. But there are people today, Pete, that I saw referencing the Browns contract that Deshaun Watson basically on a minimum deal for the first year of that contract. Some smart people, I know Ryan Glass-Steagall, who's now over at the New York Post, has been an industry reporter for a while. Sometimes has some decent sources as well, was talking about he thinks it's a year suspension that could be coming for Deshaun Watson. I am not drafting like Deshaun Watson could be suspended a year. So at this point, do you have any tea leaves that you're reading, or are we just waiting for the hammer to drop if it does drop?
Yeah, I think we're just waiting for the hammer to drop. I will say because all we can do, right, is read the tea leaves on some of these reports. And I know there had been a lot of conventional wisdom that, hey, maybe he just won't get suspended at this point. I mean, I feel like with this new information, you have to assume he's getting time. And I'm more erring on the hammer getting dropped side. Like this feels like minimum 8 games here. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go on and make a full example out of him with a big suspension. So, yeah, I think I do. I haven't been drafting him a ton. I think I should pull up and see how much he slid. It does seem like he is getting cheaper in drafts where the market is kind of slowly starting to agree that he is going to get suspended for a chunk of time. So yeah, it's an interesting spot here. I was actually just writing up a thing for the newsletter tomorrow about why I'm so out on Amari Cooper at his current ADP, and how if you want to play the Browns, I think there's just such cheaper options in the second half of the draft. But yeah, I don't want to be investing any real capital in this passing game right now with all the uncertainty.
Interesting question from Brandon in the chat asking any chance Goodell tries to F with them in that contract, but letting him play this year and suspend next year with no money, or with the money rather. I don't think that's a possibility. Like, you can't suspend a guy a year later, even if you are trying to do some game of cat and mouse. And I feel like, there's one thing you could say historically with Goodell, he's not been the most active about male-female situations. Like, I think the intergender stuff, drunk driving has been a big one where I feel like the hammer tends to come down a lot. So I don't know what to expect here, Pete, but I feel like that kind of unconventional approach, like, I'm not expecting Goodell to get too creative here. Like, the creative part would be if he suspended him for, more than 8 games, I think would be the only creativity that could come from the suspension.
Yeah, there's two words that are not synonymous with each other, and it's Roger Goodell and creativity. So let's not hold our breath on that one.
Unless it's for ways to cut up the streaming deals for more money. Then he gets pretty creative. That's the one time he likes to get outside the box a little bit. Pete, a headline I saw, of course, in the Fantasy Life newsletter that I want to get to. And I did bring some news items, Pete, today, or just one news item, rather, that was not in the Fantasy Life newsletter. But Devonta Smith, headline grabber at Eagles at OTAs. I've talked about how I'm not drafting him at all. And it also is coming, some of this practice reports from him. Jalen Hurts apparently not looking too different mechanically, even though he's been taking some coaching sessions from noted QB guru Tom House, but still kind of just look more decisive, was what that first report, I think, from Bleeding Green Nation, the SB Nation Eagles blog, was talking about. But overall, Pete, Devonta Smith looked like a beast, apparently, that OTAs, with A.J. Brown still doing some minor workouts, not in the full practice mode. Should I be buying into Devonta Smith more? Are you buying into Devonta Smith? Because, like, he wasn't great last year, and we've vocalized some of the concerns about there just not being enough passing volume, but he definitely could benefit if they just do start to open it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in on Devonta Smith. I like him in that price range. I know when we're often doing drafts, we're often looking at the same kind of group of guys there. You have the rookies, Drake London, Traylon Burks are there. You'll often have Amon-Ra St. Brown in that range. And I like all those guys. I mean, they all fit that general archetype of player that I want, these second year wide receivers who flash efficiency in year one. And now we're getting hopefully a big upgrade on this offense. I like Devonta Smith as a number 2. I think you could even say maybe a 2B if Goddard is still in there. And I like the idea of him not drawing all the attention. And if this team does go more pass happy, like everyone's kind of banking on with the addition of AJB, I think he's going to be a big beneficiary. So yeah, I definitely want him. I mean, Hurts, I still think, is an incredible value in drafts. So you can often get like the double tap in that range as well if you're able to grab Hurts and Devonta Smith. So yeah, I'm very much in on him.
Yeah, I think I need to rethink my priors a little bit about this Eagles offense. And I think, not letting the back into that season last year where they were running the ball a lot, trying to kind of limit the risk because it was working for him. This year, you got another offseason. You got Jalen Hurts clearly investing the time and better coaching for himself, the QB position. And apparently he's getting more aggressive on throws on the middle, looking good at that, which is something he has not been good at historically. So maybe some positive tea leaves to read into the Eagles. And another NFC East team, Pete, that I think you're going to be intrigued by. Saquon Barkley working some receiver snaps because no Kadarius Toney, no Kenny Galladay. Your boy, Darius Slayton, back in the mix, getting running back snaps in these weird New York Giants configurations as a result of them bringing in the Buffalo Bills head coach, of course, bringing over really a lot of the Bills staff to kind of overhaul what they're doing. Is there life at all in Darius Slayton before we get to, I thought, one interesting offensive starter for the Giants that I haven't seen reported anywhere besides this one Athletic article?
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, the real OG splash play fans know. I mean, Darius Slayton was almost a meme on the level of Laviska Shenault the first year we did this show. He was like my ride or die every single week, just trying to bank his one big week. So yeah, I love Darius Slayton. I feel like if we're making a general bet on a renaissance here in the Giants passing game, I think he would be a big benefit there. And dare I say, he's better in best ball with his more infrequent targets, but ability to get loose down the field. So yeah, I'm ready to martingale Darius Slayton for the 5th year in a row.
Yeah, it's got to pay off when he's 35 years old and finally has that bump up. But yeah, I feel like, the Kadarius Toney part's more interesting to me. Apparently he's been running, or Darius Slayton's running a lot of routes that would normally go to Kadarius Toney, who's currently out with an injury. But if he could be that microcosm of Deebo Samuel, the thing that every NFL team is looking for, I think it could be pretty interesting. And then we also got the one news item, Pete, that I thought was relevant to you. So we got Bullock in the chat, of course, the youthful Bullock, our college reporter who's on the scene telling us all the things that tweens are talking about. but he's drafting a lot of Giant stacks. You get Daniel Jones very cheap, but a guy, Pete, that's not getting drafted at all is Daniel Bellinger, the rookie Giants tight end, apparently running with the first team ahead of Ricky Seals-Jones. I know you put some bets in on Ricky Seals-Jones and some of your best ball drafts, and Bellinger, just the guy who's not getting drafted at all and could kind of be that, maybe that Dawson Knox, at the very least, that Tommy Sweeney perhaps in that Giants offense. Like, probably we're taking some stabs on at this point in round 18.
Yeah, no, I caught that report. I will hands up. Bellinger was not on my radar before that, but these are the perfect situations. I always use the example of last year when I was just drafting Olamide Zaccheaus as the Falcons wide receiver 3. Anytime I had a Falcon stack, and how I got kind of tunnel vision on that one guy. But anytime we have uncertainty on who's actually going to be the guy, clearly the market has no confidence in Ricky Seals-Jones because he's free in drafts as well. So I don't want to say I'm, convinced that Bellinger will have the job over Ricky Seals-Jones, but I'm also not opposed at all to sprinkling him in. And he's a far more fun selection than RSJ is. So yeah, I think he's a nice, kind of tight end 3 in your tight end 3 builds, or maybe if you have like a Kelsey or an Andrews, maybe he's your tight end 2. I think that stuff definitely checks out.
And I think there's a faint chance, too, that he could take one of those jumps if we just hear a lot of positive training camp, OTA reports from how he's bonding with Daniel Jones. Maybe they're getting breakfast together. You could see him rise up, I think, closer to that Gerald Everett range, probably not, fully to that, where Gerald Everett's risen quite a bit since we talked about him on this show. Bellinger, I think, could come up a little bit more. So I think as people are talking about in the chat, maybe start taking him now, and then hopefully you can get a little bit of exposure at the cheap before he goes to maybe the 16th round instead of the bottom of the drafts. Pete, anything else for you want to hit on before we jump into this multi-tabling, which is going to be as chaotic as can be? And frankly, for a Monday show, I don't know if either of us is mentally ready to be doing this.
Yeah, this is going to be chaotic. The only other news item stuff was I saw the report that, Trey Lance is basically all but confirmed as the, 49er starter. Let me see if I can just pull up what that was. It was a Tom Pelissero report. I'll get it up on screen right here. He said the 49ers have excused Jimmy Garoppolo from this week's minicamp. Per sources, Garoppolo has been rehabbing from shoulder surgery away from the facility as San Francisco continues to explore trade options, and that will continue. So obviously him being hurt, impacts this, but just it seems like the writing is on the wall that, whether it's because of injury, excusing him from camp, shopping him around, I mean, Jimmy G is not part of the 49ers future plans here right now.
Yeah, and Trey Lance's ADP, I think, going to start to come back up a little bit. I saw him going about 10 spots ahead of where he's been, perhaps because of those news items out there. But the people who've been clinging to that hope that Jimmy G might come back in and just take over the role, Trey Lance has got to really do some bad things, I feel like, between now and then, just bad things on the field, hopefully, to get to that point.
That real quick before we out, it did remind me, and I just want to reiterate this in case anyone was bullshitting, but I went to update the thumbnail from my best ball breakfast, and I was like, I want to put a picture of Trey Lance on it. And I go to my player thumbnail folder. I have hundreds of players that I've just kept in there and reuse them. Sometimes I'm searching for Trey Lance. I'm like, have I really never used Trey Lance on a thumbnail before? And apparently I hadn't. I have no idea how that's possible. Or at least I had never used him without his helmet on. And so I'm Google imaging Trey Lance, and I realize I have never seen until this morning what Trey Lance looks like. Today, dead ass was the first time I was like, oh, that's Trey Lance. I legitimately had no idea. You could have showed me a lineup of 20 different guys and have Trey Lance in there, and I would not have known it was him. So I'm really excited to now know what Trey Lance looks like.
It's actually funny because I've had Trey Lance on when I was making the thumbnails for at least we were doing them separately. Like, that's why I had the Trey Lance ready to go for my Friday stream where I had him as the blurred out QB that you should be drafting. So I've used Trey Lance somehow before you, which makes no sense given that you are one of the earliest Trey Lance, I'll say dick riders. You're one of the earliest Trey Lance dick riders out there. I don't think that's worth a bonk. That's just a phrase.
I think Dick Riders is certainly worth a bonk. The bonk has a few different meanings, but you deserve them all.
Either way, Trey Lance looking safe, so we'll see if we draft him today. But Pete, is it about time to hit the tables there where people can go join us on Underdog with the promo code SPLASH to get into our spinning wheel builds today? 2 drafts at once. How is it going to go? We'll find out right now.
Yeah, so this is just to make this setup clear for people. So what we're going to do is Spags and I are going to collectively jump into 2 puppy drafts back to back. So when the time comes, I'm going to go register. So there will theoretically be up to 22 spots for you guys to join us today. We're going to do the same thing we did last Thursday where we're going to let a wheel two wheels dictate our strategy for that draft, but we're just upping the stakes and we're doing 2 drafts at the same time. So we're going to have 4 total prompts across 2 drafts that Spags and I are not only going to have to get on the same page with, but also try to juggle and remember the prompts as we go. So let's call this draft 1, Spags. We'll figure out what running back strategy we are going to be doing for draft 1.
Did it used to make noise, or did I imagine that it makes noise?
It does. I'm hearing the noise.
Oh, it must just be. It's not coming through your audio. That's why.
All right. So I'm going to actually remove this because we are going to do Hyperfragile in 1. And just because doing Hyperfragile on 2 drafts doesn't seem like prime entertainment. Look at this. The wheel just conspiring against Chris Spags, refuses to let him get his textbook 0 RB builds.
Unbelievable. I mean, look, I'm getting enough out there. Pete, you finally got a taste of a 0 RB, at least a legal 0 RB. So we'll get there.
Okay, so this is going to be the accompanying strategy to the Hyperfragile team for draft 1. So it's going to be Hyperfragile and whatever pops up here.
All right.
Elite QB.
Okay.
All right.
I don't love that.
So we're going to have, what? We'll say 4 of our first 7 picks or so are going to be used on running backs and quarterbacks.
That is my least favorite construction out of all of them, but go ahead. What's the other one going to be?
All right. So then this will be for our anchor RB draft. We will be doing an anchor build and an onslaught here, a quarterback with 3 of their teammates. So we'll call this the onslaught prompt: anchor plus onslaught, Hyperfragile plus elite QB. I will now head over and jump into 2 puppy drafts. Here is puppy draft 1. Let me go back to underdog. Hop in puppy draft 2.
Can really see the producing expertise on display here, Pete, that you're going to be able to manage these 2. Because if you had tried to get me to do multi-tabling on screen, oh boy, would it not go well.
I can only imagine you trying to navigate this.
So are you just sharing the whole window now? Like you're not doing the tab? Okay, yeah, that's
exactly.
Smart. That's savvy.
Yes,
that's kind of production expertise.
So let's see what we drew. So in our Hyperfragile room, we have the 1.8 and we have the 1.3 in our anchor RB room. That should actually work out.
Could you like space the tabs out a little more so we know which is, so I could like mentally remember which is which? Like maybe put the anchor RB in the first slot.
I will do this is Hyperfragile.
Okay.
Yes, but both these prompts reference the second draft.
Okay.
I will walk you through it. We will be all right.
I'm glad this wasn't a wake and bake day for me, because boy, my brain function would be even lower than it is currently.
Yeah, so this is, trust me, as someone when I've tried the multi-tabling on stream, it's very important that we are referencing the picks away in the tab we're not using. Right, so we are going to be 2 picks away here. So this is the anchor build. Assuming JT or McCaffrey are there, I assume one of those is our pick.
Okay, that would work. I mean, well, you could take an anchor in the first 3 rounds, right?
We could. Yeah, we can push it.
Because I wouldn't mind taking a receiver up top just to get that going, and then take whatever running backs. There's always running backs left in the second round.
Yeah, we should. This is going to be chaotic, Broward. So I don't know if we're going to have a ton of time for definitions, but it basically means 1 running back early and not getting your second running back until later. Do you want to do McCaffrey, Jefferson, or Chase?
Let's do McCaffrey. Let's get out of the way and hope we can get some of the Bucks guys.
Okay. So we're going to
This is our one with the QB plus 3 wide receivers, right?
Yep. So this is anchor, which we've already fulfilled, and then an onslaught. And then over here, we have this Hyperfragile build. Ooh, okay. Yes. Did we finally get in a fun draft here? Eckler going 1-5 over Chase. I love to see it.
Except this is the one where we have to draft the 3 running backs up top. No?
But again, not necessarily. Like if Chase were to fall to us, we could go Chase and then 3 straight running backs or something like that.
Okay. All right. That works. That's more appealing to me. I like our McCaffrey start though in the QB plus 3 wide receiver build, because I feel like we can get that Bucks 3-man potentially if that lines up. I don't want to give it away to the room, but if you guys want to let us get that'd be really nice of you, I think.
All right. So do you want to do Henry or Diggs here?
Or we could take Kelsey.
We could also take Kelsey. The only problem is remember, we need elite quarterback too. So this really starts to put us in a pinch.
But then we could take Mahomes.
Yeah, I just don't. I think it really limits our flexibility
Okay.
if we
I'll
take
follow
Kelsey.
your lead. Go, whoever you want to do.
Let's try to mess around with this too. Similar, we'll try to flip it, get our elite wide receiver early, and then because I do agree with your thought in general too that it's there's a thicker tier of running backs than there are wide receivers. And I really do like basically flipping it this year where you're doing like an anchor stud wide receiver strategy. If you are doing hyper fragile, locking up that guy who has the potential to put up 40 plus points and then filling around from there.
We also got MTM Revolt in the chat saying there had to be at least 5 overflow drafts when the hyper fragile spin came off. People trying to get that streamer EV. I think if it were a robust RB, then you would have seen underdog would have suddenly been 70% filled instead of 60% filled for the puppy.
You got people in the chat defending you, saying I'm bullying you already, Spags.
I mean, look, I get to make all the decisions now on a Friday stream, so I get my one creative outlet. Where if it's Pete's money here, of course, his hard-earned $10 going into the puppy, and I'm not gonna, especially if this is your specialty, Pete, drafting running backs a bunch up top. Like, I don't want to interfere with that. You got to go to the experts.
Yeah, you gotta just let it rip. Trust the process.
Camden saying, I did not mean to get in this with you. I was going to watch the replay while I was drafting, but I'm in here at the number 2. Camden, lucky you, buddy. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this terrible build.
Camden fits the corollary of names that I'm not used to that just come out of the woodwork when they're at a draft with us.
I'm a big fan of these guys coming in here. I feel like we've become a real place for people in the best ball community to come and congregate. And I feel like that's the way we can really win in terms of just spiking that view upside.
That's Spags. I'm just doing this for the community. I'm not, just in it for the clout and the views that you are. I mean, this guy sends me an email over the weekend asking about what our viewer retention is in our YouTube demographics. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Do you want to do Aaron Jones?
Yeah, let's do Aaron Jones.
All right. So this is our onslaught our onslaught hyper fragile team. And now we are just a couple picks away on our did I mix that up? Now I'm confused. I'm already confused. McCaffrey's our anchor team, right?
Yeah, it's our anchor, right? Yes. Yeah. And then we have to do the QB +3 in this tab.
Yes.
Also, Camden, give you the update, by the way. He does this in chat a lot, watches a lot of the replays. I feel like we have to give a shout out to the replay nation out there because I saw from my Friday stream, went up a couple hundred views over the weekend for people watching on replays. So we gotta remember that there are people that don't just hang out with us live in the room.
AJ Brown for me, unless you have someone else.
Oh, I wish we could have gotten Evans, but yeah, AJ Brown is it.
Oh, Evans, so yeah. When did Evans has been going early?
That ironically, the first tab, we could have gotten that build with Evans. I think, obviously relative to the draft slots, but that would have been nice to get Evans.
All right. So yeah, this is our anchor build here. So this prompt, I think, is ultimately going to be easier than the other one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're just going to take whoever's there at running back, basically.
Miles is a huge replay bro. First day watching live streams and destroyed Pete in his BBM draft this morning. He actually did. I reviewed his team and I was trying to sauce it. Then I was like, God damn, I love this team.
I did watch your show. I always watch Pete's best ball breakfast while I'm kind of catching up on my stuff. Sometimes have it on in the background. Had you on while I was working out today, not getting my Underdog Cardio Club credits because I only lift weights. So you can tell all these muscles I'm building up. And I felt like everybody, you were like, yeah, your team's better than mine. I wish I could trade you.
Yeah. I told you, I'm done. I hate streaming my drafts. It fucking sucks. I mean, who boxed themselves into this quarter?
All right, we're on the clock here in our anchor RB build.
I mean, do you want to get the Chimera? No, we got to stick to the anchor RB build. See, I was relapsing into my running back stuff. Pitts is your guy. Pitts, Waddle. Who do you want to do?
Let's do Pitts. Do we have to take an elite QB in this one, right?
No, anchor is onslaught, right? Hyper fragile is elite QB.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Oof. Josty called me out again, by the way. I always say breast ball breakfast.
I did pick up on that too, but I'm trying to swerve us away from bonks.
It's because of the double BRs there. It's best ball breakfast. And then the R, I'm just like, my tongue is ready to say the R too early.
I wouldn't put it past you to do a spin-off competing show at 10 a.m. where it's while Luca gets breastfed. Spags. Spags does a thing. Look at your eyes light up. You're like, oh, that'd do numbers.
I mean, look, Alex has done a great job in the breast milk accumulation department. Very proud of her. Very proud of all the
Big
stereotypes.
shortage these days, I hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of feeding going on in this house. Luca's getting fucking fat. He's still like small and height and weight wise relative to the rest of the babies, but he's up in outfit sizes now, so he's like officially a chonker by my standards.
There you go. And trust me, as people know from the Rihanna stuff, we know you have high standards for that. Did you end up telling the Chris Spags backstory on?
I kind of skipped over the Rihanna
Josh
part.
Allen, right?
Yes.
Lines up perfectly.
Yep. Right, now
sorry, what were you saying?
No, I covered some other Barstool stuff. But yeah, if you want to check out, if you're a person who's a tangential Barstool fan and want to catch some hot goss, watch the entire hour and 45-minute stream and you get it parsed out from me getting distracted, going back to it, getting distracted. It was really, but you make people get that viewer retention up, Pete. That's what we were talking about. That's why I'm emailing over on like Friday night, I think it was.
Do you think this would be a good tweet? Formula One? How about I just get some formula?
Oh, or actually, no, I hear there's a shortage going on. Formula One, more like Formula None.
There you go. Thank you for the punch up on that.
We were doing a bit when we were at, this is going to be very embarrassing. We were doing a bit over the weekend of like rhyming things with boutique. And it's like, oh, like a bunch of ghosts opened up a boutique. Like it's a boutique. And then just doing that for every possible spin on boutique. This is what happens when you have no brain function left from having a child.
Who are you doing this with?
With Alex. We were at brunch with Luca and just doing jokes about boutique, or like a bunch of cows open a small shop. It's a boutique.
There you go.
It just keeps going on.
Who does that? The No Dunks guys, they used to they have, well, actually they still do. They have their pun gun segment, which is basically that, an entire podcast segment devoted to just spin-off puns on a specific angle. Yeah,
I think they're doing some good bits. I saw you were wearing the No Dunks jerseys with The Bachelor.
Yeah, they it was a really cool merch drop. They had limited edition of those and like retro NBA jerseys with their own No Dunks logos on there. So I got the Vancouver Grizzly one. It was tough because I grew up in Denver, but so the Nuggets one did look cool, but man, the colors, that kind of aqua turquoise or whatever, that the Vancouver one is just such a nice color.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of I mean, the vintage NBA jersey game rather, is I feel like the best one out of all of them. Like NFL ones just don't hold a candle to some of those weird 90s designs that came out in the NBA.
All right, we're gonna have two picks back to back. All right, we're on the clock here. This is our anchor build where we took a tight end. So you want to take your boy Metcalf?
Yeah, I suppose we could. I mean, we want to get a correlation with Godwin and reach a little.
But we're gonna be able to probably.
Let's do Metcalf.
And then we have 16 seconds on the clock here. We do need to go running back though, because this is a hyper fragile build.
We're never taking Zeke. We might as well take Zeke, right?
You want to just get the Zeke over with?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, disgusting. Spags, you loved taking him there.
I honestly don't think I've taken Zeke. I might have taken him once because I have so much Tony Pollard. At some point, you got to take at least one share of Zeke. But like nobody wants to take him. And at a certain point, he's probably valuable because nobody wants to take him.
Willis loves when we take Zeke. This is how you get your exposure. Is when the wheel forces you into it. All right, so we're gonna have some time here, but we are gonna be up in a second on our anchor RB onslaught build.
Okay. I mean, this is not a bad team. I don't know how we're going to get much in the way of correlation. I don't know how we're going to get to the QB +3.
It might have to be a big backdoor effort.
You know who it might have to be, Pete?
What?
the run the minute and a half clip.
You want to do the Godwin with McCaffrey correlation?
Yeah, that's smart. But yeah, like a Drew Lock stack is completely in play here for a QB +3.
I'd rather take Baker Mayfield as the third QB.
It's unfair. Baker Mayfield's going to be needed in Cleveland. It sounds like, based on some of the recent reports. As you get to the 24 mark of lawsuits, you're probably trending towards something bad.
All right, so checking in on our teams. So our elite QB hyperfragile build right now has Diggs and Josh Allen stack, Aaron Jones, Zeke. And then our hyperfragile build here, or sorry, our anchor RB build. Christian McCaffrey, our anchor, and then AJ Brown, Pitts, Metcalf, Godwin. I mean, this is just a classic, straight down the middle, by the book anchor RB team.
It's not bad. I mean,
No.
I could tell you want to pitch me on some running backs coming up in the next few rounds here, but I feel like right now I like the way it's shaping up.
Man, that is crazy. Hurts. So I know Jake got Devonta Smith there, and wow, Devonta Smith he took him way ahead of ADP, right?
He must have seen that report that we we talked about.
So he took Devonta Smith 20 picks ahead of ADP so he could double tap it with Hurts. Because I was going to say, I know Hurts is getting steamed up, but going ahead of Lamar Jackson, that's too rich for my blood.
So here's a question for you, because we are going to be building this here. Obviously, we're building the QB plus 3 wide receiver onslaught or 3 pass catcher onslaught. Like, out of the ones you can get for pretty cheap or, next to nothing, like, which ones would you actually take? Because I obviously would extol the virtues of the Seattle one. I think Atlanta's another easy one you can get. You could get Houston, Jacksonville late. Like, are there any 3 wide receiver, 3 pass catcher plus QB builds that you would actually be stoked to get to that's actually achievable?
Well, I guess the way I read the prompt, I thought running backs could be included. Did you not read it that way?
I thought it was QB. Well, I think it was actually QB plus 3 wide receivers, wasn't it?
Plus 3 teammates.
Oh, plus 3 teammates. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
I do agree. Your version is a much higher degree of difficulty, but I was thinking about it as like, say if we wanted to build out a Brady thing, you tack on my guy, Rashad White, maybe Gronk, something like that. The running back makes it much easier just because it gives you so many more options, but I'm not opposed to if you want to do it by the letter of the wide receiver law.
Some interesting ones in chat too. Nick pointing out the Giants. The Giants are getting easier too. If you're going to buy in a Daniel Bellinger, you can get Galladay, Tony. You get Sterling Shepard for nothing. Definitely get some different configurations there. Josh saying the Browns and Njoku, Bell, DPJ. That is a pretty cheap one. I feel like the Jacksonville one's the cheap one that I get the most just because of the Jacksonville Houston week 17. Some interesting ones out there. Like I think just trying to get some of those on the back end, like mixing those in for, especially if you're trying to jam the puppy. Like
shit.
Oh no, we missed.
Did we just get timed out? Sorry, no. We just got timed out.
Oh,
what?
No.
Oh my God. What a beautiful timeout.
All right.
Holy cow. When the timeout completes your double stack, we are going to have to take an RB with the next pick though.
Wow. Okay. So we fucked up the prompt, but we got a good team out of it.
Wow. Can you imagine getting timed out the nut double stack?
That's...
The chat is tilting how pure we're running.
That's happened to me a few times where my underdog alerts have been a little hit and miss lately. I'm not sure if it's because of the Apple Watch or what, but I got timed out on the 2 pick a couple times recently, and thankfully just got Cooper Kupp, and I was like, whew, like I'm lucky that somebody didn't do something weird in the 1 hole because that sometimes happens.
So again, one thing we were talking about with these prompts, right? Like how I define hyper fragile is more that we're just going to take a max of 4 running backs, to where I'm okay if we want to push it a little more, but the letter of the law would be we can't take more than 4. So I still think we should probably get a third here though, if we're trying to actually make a build that can get away with 4 running backs,
Yeah. I mean, nothing setting up too well correlation wise, it looks like, for running backs.
We also need to pay attention on this one here. I think, man, I have not been drafting any Michael Thomas. I think I still prefer Treylon Burks here. Do you have anything else you would want to consider?
Let's see. We got Atlanta, so nobody on Arizona. Nobody on Carolina who makes sense.
As Treylon Burks
Michael Thomas.
You want to do Michael Thomas with AJ Brown?
Yeah, Philly, New Orleans, week 17.
Right, we got to bounce back. Do you want to do Jacobs or Eli Mitchell here?
I would go Josh Jacobs.
All right, I'm cool with that.
I don't love Zeke, but this is not a bad build. Like we're gonna have a tough time at tight end, but it's not.
This is how it starts, Spags. You start to taste that sweet, sweet running back forbidden fruit. Next thing you know, you've destroyed your 0 RB personal brand.
Yeah, except when like Ezekiel Elliott and Aaron Jones get hurt in July, and then it's like, oh, that's why you don't do that.
Wait, did I miss this? Did someone take Taysom Hill at pick 28? Where?
Is it the other draft?
No, I don't know what he's talking about.
Maybe he's watching the replay. I don't know.
Oh, was that your draft in the screenshot you sent over?
Whatever Dr. Drippin did. I don't know. Nothing would surprise me.
Dripping pure swag.
God, that was I think he might have had an experience badge too. Like that's where it throws me off, where I know you've been like read the signs or whatever with people. And sometimes I see these experience badge guys. I'm like, are they just putting the money on, just going, yeah, I'll light it on fire. Why not?
I have some theories.
But do you want no?
Hang
Let's do
on.
the pick. Let's see if we can share them out loud.
So this is our anchor here. Do you want to just get Brady to complete the Godwin stack?
I
He's
think that
not
makes
going to
sense.
make it back to us. And then otherwise, because basically it gives us 2 outs at like the onslaught. You know, we can do Rashad White, Gronk, a third pass catcher, but then it also with Seattle, in New Orleans, in Atlanta. I think all of those two, if we were in a pinch needing to get to an onslaught,
Mhm.
we could as well.
No, I think that makes sense. And I like getting Brady too. It's weird. I actually replied to Ian Hart. It's our old pal, who has been on Splash Play before. We didn't get him on last season, but we love Ian. And his replies, by the way, might be one of my least favorite replies. Like, if you chime in with anything, just replying to your old pal Ian, you get fans of that team jumping down your throat because I was pointing out he posted like a Tom Brady reel or whatever, like highlight clips. And I was like, yeah, like, oh, you're missing the ones of him like getting sacked over and over again down the home stretch. And then it's just Bucks fans spamming me negative shit for like the rest of my night. I just had to mute the thread.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am never envious of those people who get fan Twitter in their
Mhm.
mentions where they take everything, even if it's not meant to be a slight, they somehow find it as a slight against their team.
It's also
Not
like,
realizing we don't give a shit. We're just trying to win our fantasy leagues.
well, and two, like if you're a real Bucks fan, like you got to remember those games on the end of last year, he's just getting hit over and over again. And I was watching that Rams game, I'm like, I don't think Tom Brady's going to want to come back because he's just getting smoked over and over again. And they've lost guys in their offensive line, haven't made improvements that are noteworthy. Like I like Tom Brady, drafting him a lot. We're drafting him here, but there's a lot of reasons to have concern.
So, do we want to get a fourth running back and be done here? Or do we think Amon Ra kind of is pretty nice here, 10 picks after ADP?
I would take a Monra.
I still don't see. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think we're good to push fourth running back. Maybe what, like at the most, maybe 10th or 11th. I don't think in this build we'd want to push it much further past that.
I know I've talked a little bit about some of my draft strategy that in particular, I feel like Dricko and we talked about the RotoViz guys a lot. Dubner, I know you referenced too. Just generally one thing that Dricko's really tried to impart to me is not taking that fourth running back before round 8. So I'm glad we
So
didn't do that there.
yeah, it's different though with a hyper fragile build, right? Because we're trying the more capital you spend early on the running backs, it's a sliding scale where then the longer you can wait. Like if I start a hyper fragile build with 3 straight running backs, I'll probably take my fourth running back in like the 17th or 18th round.
Mhm.
But because we've kind of bounced around a little bit more in this one, if we're trying to get away with only having 4, I would like to get that fourth one a little earlier.
Okay.
But I still think we could get away with pushing it to like the 11th or 12th if we needed.
Okay. I get your logic there. And I think that's where, Pete talks a lot about the variability within the different strategies and all of that. And I could see the point. I was also kind of hoping that Hawkinson would follow us and we can get a nice sneaky little Detroit stack there, but that's
I
not
was
happening.
hoping that too. I saw that.
Let's
All right,
see.
let's see. So we are going to be up in a second on our hyper fragile elite QB build. We're on the clock over here.
Okay.
We are on the clock.
This
Lots
seems like
of
a good
running back options.
Dylan would look nice to me, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other considerations. If we would have gotten Burks, Pollard would have been fun with him.
Mhm.
We could also, I think we could have made a case. We can make a case for Patterson as well if we're trying to get our set up other options for our onslaught.
Yeah, I think there are some reasonable takes here. One that I'm not as on board with, and you might feel differently, but Willis, of course, our beloved account here saying draft Singletary to go with your Bill stack. That's the kind of guy that I wouldn't be inclined to put in with the stack for the most part. Like I know you make a lot of you're making a bet on the team kind of things, but like I'd rather have a more pure pass catcher than, a guy's going to siphon away from my other 2 receivers and Josh Allen.
Well, Devin Singletary caught a lot of passes last year. I think like My exceptions are obviously, yes, do they catch a lot of passes? And then are they just in a really high powered offense where there's just going to be lots of opportunities to score? I think the counter argument you could make is, hey, James Cook is going to steal a lot of that pass catching work, but in which case I would be plenty fine with
Oh,
James Cook.
we timed out.
No. Why did no?
Oh, wait, did we? That's not bad.
I mean, it's honestly not that bad.
No. I've
This
been
is
reaching for Hunter Renfrow lately, so I'm happy.
man. This is brutal. We're already failing at our own challenge.
It's hard.
We're on the clock.
Okay.
Patterson went.
Garrett Wilson.
I think we could grab a Garrett Wilson or MVS.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson would be for the Seattle correlation.
Yeah, good call. Seattle Garrett Wilson. We'll do that. I will say, you try it. You try it.
The talking and the producing and the doing that, like that's where it starts to get you. And I could say that as somebody who just produced the one stream doing the one draft. Like it's the moving around. It's like all of it. Like the whole ecosystem is what gets difficult.
Trust me, I could stop talking to you guys and draft these just absolutely perfectly. Have no doubt.
Yeah, I could multi-table up to 3 to 4 if I'm not doing a show and I'm paying attention, but doing it on a stream and talking and trying to make coherent content. Like we talk about, we're trying to make these YouTube improvements that would kind of defeat the purpose if we just didn't talk and drafted in silence 5 teams at once.
The people want it both ways. They want us to entertain them, to just have breezy, organic conversation in between picks, but also drafting optimally and on time without nary a hiccup. I'm sorry we let you guys down.
It's a tough needle to thread, Pete. People just don't appreciate the streamer EV that we're giving out here. But of course, we're doing these drafts Monday, Thursday. Pete and I are doing them together on Pete's channel and the Splash Play channel. And then Fridays, 2:30, same time. Going to be me doing the solo stream again. So come hang out on the Splash Play channel there. But a lot of fun doing these best ball drafts. And sometimes we actually, get them picks in on time. That's the main thing. At least 99% of the time, Pete, we're getting those picks in.
I could do this bit, the draft in complete silence. I could do an underdog cardio club where I just stream from YouTube on my phone while drafting a team. But because I'm in the gym and be noisy, I would just mute myself and you could just watch me sweat on the Stairmaster. I'm sure our
how many people do you think would watch that though? Like, I think at least 50 would just watch you just sweating and making picks.
Just with no. And if I would need the draft board shared too, obviously, I think to actually pull it off.
Yeah, it feels more like a Twitter video, I think, than a YouTube video.
An hour-long Twitter video of me drafting?
Yeah, just like the Periscope or like your Twitch. If it were a Twitch, if that were like the Pete Twitch, this is you doing cardio. Like, I think that's where you could do it.
This is such a failed premise by Bullock, who sends $5 in. Since you guys are lighting $5 on fire on stream, so will I. It's interesting that you think giving a tip to 2 of your favorite content creators is lighting money on fire instead of supporting our creative interests, Bullock. I think you really need a reframing on that.
Oh, Nez bringing a good point here. That's OnlyFans content. That is true. We did talk at one point about launching an OnlyFans to be the only fantasy football guys on OnlyFans, and that could be a way to do it.
All right, I'm not going to let us get timed out again. We have a bunch of picks coming up here, a flurry of picks. Damn it, Dawson Knox, the nut pick for us right there.
Oh,
I think we're pushing towards a 3 tight end build, so I think we should just grab a wide receiver or running back here.
Can we reach for Boyd? Because I feel like Boyd gets scooped for me all the time in Buffalo bringbacks.
Sure. Even though I would rather have gotten I do think we try to get one of our Bills running backs at the next pick then if we're reaching that much for Boyd.
That's fine. I feel like we were more likely to get scooped on Boyd than both of the Bills running backs.
All right, now we're back over here at pick 118. So we have Brady. This was our anchor RB team.
Mm-hmm.
Edmonds, Melvin Gordon, Penny, Ramondre. Don't love these wide receivers here. What do you see?
I mean, we got to take a QB, right?
No, because we have all those backdoor options with the cheap guy. Do Edmonds, Penny, or Stevenson? Say it.
Edmonds.
All right, that's who I did.
Yeah, Penny would have been okay too, just because we do have Seattle and we passed on Kenneth Walker, so I don't mind that kind of stacking those two events together. But Edmonds is the better play though.
And there'll probably be a couple New England plays that we could get there as well. Let me go back over here, make sure we are not getting rugged. Yarshal, welcome to the channel. I can't imagine what you saw here today that would compel you to want to be a even more entrenched part of this community, but welcome.
Oh man. It was probably just the tease of you getting sweaty on a treadmill. He's like, I got to buy in now before it gets too expensive.
Now this is an ambitious idea here. No one wants to see that.
Oh, I saw you talking on the Best Ball Breakfast stream about the USFL beef or whatever. I didn't realize that was our guy Sam Chowdhury over at FTN who was involved in that. And like, I hate DFS beefs. I have to say, like, I know you guys said on LOLs would be so fun. They are the dorkiest things that occur, and I could say that now as somebody who's thankfully mostly avoided them throughout my DFS career.
Well, how is that unique to DFS? Like any online beef is inherently dorky. What online beef is cool?
I feel like it just strikes like I talked on here like I hate the Twitter dunking on thing where people like
hang on we can't I refuse to let the chat get satisfaction out of us auto drafting.
I don't love anything here, to be honest.
Do you want to just like get Ramondre and then be pretty much done at running back?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Or I'm just going to put him in the queue real quick, make sure we're not missing anything else.
We're scooping our Rachaad White then.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's just do Rachaad White.
Yeah.
That because we need to make sure. And then where's Gronk? Gronk's already gone.
Yeah.
So we'll have to start thinking through this onslaught here. I mean, we can obviously tack on a Brait or a Scotty Miller. The other pick, the chat is shouting at us. Oh, God.
Oh.
God damn it.
Errors are going to be made when you're multi-tabling. The multi-table of madness is what we're doing.
Aaron Rodgers. Hey, can we just say though, every single time we've gotten timed out has been an accidental correlation. Gabriel Davis with our Allen stack, Hunter Renfrow with our Josh Jacobs, and now Aaron Rodgers with our Aaron Jones. I mean, how blessed are we?
Look,
how blessed.
Sometimes better be lucky than good. That's what we always say here. Oh, no, good. My pal Eric Lindquist, of course, you might know from the Osmo streams in the chat as well. Luminary showing up here, and to go check out Eric doing a lot of great work for MLB, for NBA over at Osmo. One of my pals who I very much enjoy the content of.
Thank you, Eric, for joining in, watching us in our misery.
Yeah, no, DFS beefs, I will say just to me overall, like I find to be extra corny where it's like, oh, you're scooping my $10,000 USFL head to head. It's like you're bullying me. No, you're bullying me is basically what the gist of what those exchanges are.
That's what all of the poker beefs have been over the years that were good. It's like two guys peacocking and then being like, let's play heads up for rolls and then all that. And so at least the reason I don't actually find it to be that cringe, because at least you're putting your money where your mouth is and you're willing to say like, I am willing to, put tens of $1,000s on the line just to settle an ego battle, which is hilarious. But I actually need to read into that beef more because I saw a couple of the tweets and I didn't fully understand what was being claimed. It was basically that both are claiming to have won more off the other than the other is leading the public to believe. Is that the gist of it?
I think Sam was accusing McLovin of trying to scoop him and then was saying like, oh, I kicked his ass so bad in USFL that he's never coming back. And then also like McLovin was like, oh, I just respect you so much from NBA DFS but glad I got you unstuck. Ha ha ha. And it's like, okay, cool. Like you guys are both betting $10,000 on head to heads. Like you're doing fine. I would hope if you're doing that. Oh, see, and I got you $5, Pete, from my pal Eric. See, there you go. That's how pay it forward. That's what I always say.
Yeah, between with his how much YouTube breaks these super chats, I'm going to need one more to cover these injuries today.
What's the YouTube vig on there?
It's bad. It's real bad.
Okay. Even for super chats, really? Man, that sucks.
Yeah. Let's see here. So we are still tight endless and we are on the clock. Do we want to grab Gronk on this one, even though we Gronk or Gesicki?
Oof. I mean, I guess we got to take somebody, huh? So yeah, I guess we didn't get Gronk in the other one. So, got the full portfolio of two drafts together as one.
This is the new wave of best ball strategy. It's actually getting your correlations across drafts.
I do that a good amount, by the way. Like when I'm multi-tabling, I'm like, well, fuck, I messed up on this guy here. Might as well just get him here, and at least this one could bubble up, which is probably not the right play.
All right, we're back on the clock here again. This is our Brady team. Um, probably should go back to the wide receiver. Well, do you want to get a little Osborne AJ Dillon correlation?
I could live with that.
All right.
Oh, YouTube Vegas 30%. John Davis is saying that is a steep cut.
Yes.
Like for the ads, I get it. For super chats, it's like you're just at that point just a vessel for what people would be giving you money anyways. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's nice that they have it, and it is still very nice. But it's like, I mean, everything. Patreon rakes a shit ton.
Yeah.
Basically, any of these services that allow the tipping, they get their cut for
Mhm.
sure.
Adam Hager
Um,
saying this is a completely different roster construction than he normally has. I would hope so, for your sake.
let's see here. So we're going to be back on the clock in this Brady build.
Mm.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think of what of these other, if we want to set up another backdoor onslaught, we now have, because what is Cousins? No, Cousins is gone. Man, Watson is really lingering. This is after all of our Watson fun, and now he's sliding to pick 147.
Yeah, I feel New Orleans seems like the most. Oh wait, nope. Wait, so no, I thought those
What
James
if
still
we
went.
did this? What if we did this? What if we grabbed Algier and we could then set up the Atlanta?
But with Mariota or Ritter, which one would you want to do?
Well, either. I'm trying to see if is there anything else you're noticing?
Um, no, I don't think. I mean, well, yeah, because we don't have any. If we had an Indianapolis receiver, we could have backdoored that with Hines, which would have been nice.
Yeah.
I also 5 running backs with McCaffrey up top feels wrong to me.
No, not when you wait until pick 94 to get your second.
All right, fair enough.
We're done at running back now.
Oh, Willis, by the way, chiming in with a $10 super chat. F the rake. There we go.
There
You
we
got your
go.
accountant paying you. That's how you know you've made it, Pete.
This is the psychological tricks on your account. This is accountant rakeback. We pay him to do the books, and then because we are
other
such
pick,
loyal
other
customers,
pick.
go 7 seconds.
Whatever. Myers.
Myers. Look at us. Jeez. Thank you, chat. Rick is out here screaming in the chat.
Wait, is this the one with Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, that was. We should have taken Tanyan.
Yeah, we should have.
Oh, rats.
Of course we should have. It's almost like doing 2 drafts at the same time with 2 different challenges while chatting with the chat is a bad idea.
I mean, Rick is helpful. I got to give Rick credit here because 20 Rick, one of our regulars, sent some nice chats to me sometimes on the Splash Play channel, and then here trying to save us from ourselves. And the guy who tuned in too, by the way, was saying like this is not the way I normally draft. I would recommend people don't use spinning wheels for your personal drafts. That's the one thing I'll say.
I can't win with you guys. So Paul is correctly pointing out that when you have the draft board up, the tab won't update with how many picks you have until your next. But then I will literally go check my comments on recent videos. I'll be like, Pete, you're slacking with going to the draft board thing. I cannot win with you guys. There is absolutely no way to win. Whatever I do will be wrong. I'll either be able to tell when I'm up, or then you'll say, well, now I can't see the draft board. I hate everything right now.
Which is the goal of these shows, guys. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel for Pete's content as well as the Splash Play channel as well. Make sure you follow at Splash Play Pod, follow at Peter Overzet, follow at Chris Spags, do all that stuff so you know whenever we go live. Monday, Thursday, 2:30, Friday, 2:30 as well for a solo stream. Oh, Adam's saying he's thanks Obama. Okay, so that's my bad. I thought he was just somebody tuning in like, why are these guys building so stupidly? Why are they best ball streamers building like complete idiots?
You got to balance your range.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so we're going to be up next year at pick 152 in our Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers build. This was our hyper fragile team where we still probably want to grab. We need a tight end and we need a 4th running back.
Mhm. And we can always scam one of the Green Bay guys. We could take a Dubs. We could take an Amari Rogers. We can take a Sammy Watkins, who I know you love taking. We can take those guys at any point for Rogers too.
Yeah, I would say also Irv Smith as a bring back with our
Mm.
Rogers, I think would make sense.
If he lasts, I
Yeah,
don't mind that one because I just don't get very much Irv Smith at all.
you don't?
No, I don't know why. He just never lines up for me as a guy
All
that
right,
I'm
we're gonna
taking.
be one pick away. This is embrace the chaos here.
Oh no.
What's
Oh,
all
on the
right?
clock there. Yeah, get
So we're
Irv.
gonna
Get him
get
out of the way.
Irv, and then we're gonna head back over here. So this is our Brady team. We need um what do you want?
Oof. Should we take Winston now?
What if we take Fuller?
I would take Winston and then
You
try to
want
complete
Winston?
New Orleans, yeah.
All right, so then who else? So Winston, I mean, for our prompt for getting our onslaught right, I mean, our best bet is just getting a fourth Tampa Bay guy.
Yeah, I think taking Cyril Grayson in the 18th, maybe.
Oh, you're a Grayson man.
I would take him over Scotty Miller. I thought he showed more.
Yeah, I just feel like Scotty Miller will probably see the field more without needing a specific injury to get on the field. Like I think Scotty Miller could end up in 4 wide receiver sets. Yeah, people want us to take Cam Brate too.
Oh.
All right, we're on the clock here with our Winston build. We basically need a wide receiver or a tight end.
Nobody jumping out to me at receiver. If you want to take Fuller, we can.
I like Fuller.
Yeah, it makes
Fuller's
sense.
immediately going to jump in ADP wherever he goes.
Yeah, and he should probably, like he could end up on turf and gain a lot of value, and he's probably going to fill in. Like if he gets signed, I think at this point he's probably getting signed as a replacement for somebody who gets hurt in training camp. So I don't mind it.
The chat just absolutely screaming for Bray. I mean, we could do a 3 tight end build with Bray. I mean, how do you feel about just Pitts and Braid as a 2 tight end build?
I don't mind. I don't mind that. Yeah, and we got Gronk on the other one too, so I think there's some logic to it, at least in terms of the overall portfolio of our
No, stop trying to assign portfolio logic to 2 random puppy drafts we're doing.
I think they're going to correlate really nicely, Pete. You're going to see one of these lineups bubble up.
Yes. Yeah, let's not run the numbers on that correlation.
Silas saying Brashad Perriman. Thanks, Leone. Brashad Perriman quietly not awful last year, though he wasn't running deep routes, which was one of the strangest things I can recall.
What do you mean quietly not awful? He got released by the Lions. He couldn't beat out Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, on the Bucks though, he was actually okay when everybody was hurt.
Yeah, but the Brashad Perriman's days of relevance have come to an end.
You don't know?
As much as that pains me to say. All right, so we're 3 picks up here. I think we're done at tight end. We're done at QB. Still need to add that 4th running back when we get a chance. I know we both like Palmer. You want to grab Palmer?
I wouldn't mind taking Price here just for the Vegas correlation.
Oh, yeah. I'm down to get our 4th running back there.
Yeah, and you got your taste of Danny Gray this morning in his 4.3 speed, so you don't need him again.
Oh, yeah. The Danny Gray community has just welcomed me in open arms.
Well, it is.
Bullet, are you trying to distract me further talking about a hyper obscure crypto airdrop that no, I haven't redeemed yet, but it's on my to-do list?
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of a metaphor for the month that is, Pete. It is in fact for you, Gray Pride Month. That's not a bonk.
Yes. Like
it's
I
inclusion.
said, no, the bonk means more than just being horny now. It means whenever you do something I disapprove of, I bonk you.
All right. That's fair. The carrot or the stick. I'm getting the stick a lot.
Yeah. See, Eric gets it.
I'm like, Pete, I don't know how Gray Pride is not one of your bits on Twitter. I think it would be really well received.
Why is it not one of my bits on Twitter? Because Dave Chappelle literally made a joke fairly adjacent to that and basically got John Mulaney canceled. So let's that's why.
Poor John Mulaney. John Mulaney also got himself canceled briefly there for a minute with
what a fall from grace.
Great,
To
great
think
show though. Yeah.
you thought you could just ditch your wife and knock up Olivia Munn and just the internet would still love you, but apparently not.
I have to say, if you go get a chance to see his show, I think I forget what it's called, From Scratch, I think is what he's calling it. But I saw it in LA earlier in the cycle, and it's very much worth checking out before it hits whatever streaming place it'll end up at its final destination.
Tyler, are you offering to edit multiple bonk clips? If so, I'll be happy to give you my email address. You can have those. Just send a Google Drive link. Just make sure it can be opened by anyone with the link. Very much appreciate it.
Bullock saying he's seeing John this summer. I'm starting to think Bullock is a 35-year-old man and a 21-year-old.
Yeah, he's rugging us hard.
All right, take a tight end.
What if we do the Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill Brait would be the perfect tight end combination for this team.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by it.
All right, there we go. This team really came together. It all came into focus.
Would you normally go 3 tight end though with an elite tight end like Pitts?
Well, because we're cobbling together 2 tight ends with Taysom Hill and Brait, who I consider half tight ends, basically.
Oh, Bullock saying that John Mulaney is his girlfriend's favorite comedian. Now we know Bullock has. We're learning so much about Bullock.
Yeah.
He's been this great contributor in the community, helping us out and chat a lot. And now here he is, a 21-year-old with a girlfriend seeing John Mulaney.
No. Bullock's girlfriend lives in Canada. You just need to trust him, and they are going to meet soon for the first time. Trust me.
What if his girlfriend is like a fake Olivia Munn catfishing him?
Wouldn't put it past me. Okay, let's see here. So we're gonna do Brait with our last round pick. I think we probably want one more wide receiver.
I mean, any of these guys, like none of them really jump out to me. Like I get all these guys for the most part, besides LaVisca, who actually I took today too, so I can't even.
I'm just saying, are there any other of our correlations here that we want to get? Our New England? Do we want to Chase Edmonds like a Tyquan Thornton or something?
I could take Thornton. Actually, I didn't take Thornton today, even though I was thinking about it, so I can justify that mentally.
We can do that.
Also, we didn't mention.
Yeah, I'm sure her name is Olivia. Yeah.
Patriots another sneaky late 3 QB.
We're on the clock. Shut up. We need a wide receiver. I'm taking Curtis Samuel unless you say something.
No, I would take a Chicago guy maybe, but that's fine.
I cannot let us get timed out again. Thank you, Rick. Someone's keeping us on track here.
Particularly, I remember Munn on the Attack of the Show when we thought she was a good person. She's on it. Yeah, you got to look out for yourself in matters of the heart.
I just want people to know that we're out here drafting 2 teams with 2 different prompts, talking to the chat and putting 20-year-old kids and their fake girlfriends in their place all at the same time. If that's not a high wire juggling act for you, I don't know what is.
Do you think there's like a literal teen that watches our shows? Like Bullock now, he's 21, but is there like a 17-year-old who's in high school? Like, yeah, I got to check out Pete's streams. Or like, I love when he's mean to Spags on Splash Play.
Yeah, I have to sign lots of parental permission forms to watch these streams.
when you're old enough to do it, go over to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code SPLASH. Double your deposit to $100. Get your mom and dad's credit card right now. Go use that promo code SPLASH.
What, can you imagine if that was an actual campaign? It's like all the parents who get hit up for all the in-game purchases on iPhone games and stuff because they have their password already in there, and then their kids play the phone, and so they just keep doing like the upcharge for more diamonds or whatever kids buy in games. We need that for Underdog. We're just like, oh yeah, just have your mom load up her credit card to her Underdog account and keep reloading every week like Spags.
I think it's an angle. Eagles, by the way, in the chat, of course, one of the more frenetic best ball drafters out there, from what I know, saying first time watching the stream, which doesn't feel like a compliment. It's just more of a declaration.
Oh, it doesn't. It feels very backhanded. Well, welcome, Eagles. I could swear I've seen you. I pulled up your. Oh, maybe it's his first time watching Splash Play because I've seen Eagles in Best Ball Breakfast. But welcome to the Spags verse now, buddy. Buckle up.
Yeah, sure. Eagles and I have followed each other on Twitter for a while, so I'm glad he's finally coming on board Splash Play. Glad he's going to finally take some of that sweet EV we're giving out show after show, time and time again, literally spinning wheels to make drafts here that people are taking incredibly seriously. A lot of knowledge.
Spags will embrace anyone who follows him back on Twitter. That's literally all you need to do to get into Spags' heart is to follow him back.
Well, that's why if you follow at Splash Play Pod, I follow you back because I know the value that has to me. Where it's like, oh, that's nice. Like somebody followed you back. That means they respect you. So there you go.
I had a funny thing at the bachelor party this weekend where I had noticed that one of the guys there had followed me on Twitter a long time ago, and I think I had just forgot to follow back. One of our mutual friends. Actually, let's make this pick here. We're picking wide receivers here to round this out. You got anybody you like?
Take Peoples Jones for the Samuel correlation.
Oh, good call. And I went to follow him, and then it like kind of the app refreshed, and I noticed it, because it was like Cash that he had followed me, and then it said that he had unfollowed me. So then I followed him, and he followed me back.
Oh, that's an awkward one.
It is.
It's only awkward if you let it be awkward. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Silas says, damn, Spags doesn't follow him back. You need to hold this over him. If you do the Spags on Spags, Silas, this is what you do. You're on Spike Week, you're hosting a stream. You go, yeah, I was hanging out in the Splash Play stream today. Great stream with Pete and Spags. Although one thing, Spags doesn't follow me back on Twitter, so I've always been a little skeptical of him. Look at this. You just bullied Spags into following you.
I did it already. I was already following him. The proof is in the pudding. I do sometimes miss people though. Like I hadn't followed Michael Dubner, and I was like, oh, I should be following him. He's doing like I use his data sheet, so I should be following him. Sometimes I miss people, but I know I was following Silas. I try to keep tabs.
But like I do not want to know what this proof is that you sent me that you have a girlfriend. Okay, I am very scared.
Spags is like, I'm the one who wants to see that proof.
I am. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up with Cameron Braid on this team, right?
Yes.
Brady Winston, Pitts, Hill, Braid. I actually think this came together well. So we got our anchor team with our onslaught. So it's Brady, Rashad White, Godwin, and Braid. I think we made this one work.
Oh, there you go. Eagles explaining, by the way, I think you have 8 different streams. So first time, check it out. Splash Play appreciates a follow. And then Josty, Pete, I would actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself because I could do this now. Josty saying Spags just followed me a week ago and it was the highlight of my hour. Wait, what an hour that must have been.
Bullock, I don't want to do this unless I have your permission. Do I have permission to pull up what you sent me? Let me know if I do. I won't rug you on here. I can't tell if you're pulling my leg or not, but just how you sent it over is hilarious. So if I get your permission to pull it up on stream, I will.
What is it? Is a picture of his hand?
It's a picture of his girlfriend's driver's license.
Did he at least cross some of it out?
He did. It just kept the Olivia. Why do you have your girlfriend's driver's license with you?
For this exact moment. You're being questioned.
Bowling, you have a lot of stones, and you're so lucky that I'm nice and didn't just throw this up here on a bonk channel, sending a photo of your girlfriend, probably in a photo she's not super thrilled about. I've never met a lady who loves their driver's license photo. What do you want to do for this last pick? Final wide receiver?
I don't mind Mechie.
Don't sound so excited.
I mean, we don't have any correlation, do we?
Yeah, I also like Paris Campbell.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
You do Mechie? I'll do Mechie so the chat doesn't accuse me of bowling Spags out of his beautiful picks.
Well, I learned that he was from Taiwan on your stream this morning, so I feel like we have to support that.
What is going on? You keep your girlfriend's driver's license in your wallet because she never carries it with her?
So bowling is a 21-year-old keeping hostages and turning them into Stockholm syndrome.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, what a character. And Michael in the chat saying, Pete, not trying to dupe you, bro, but in my overflow splash play draft, I have Allen, Diggs, Gabe, Aaron Jones, Boyd, and Jacoby. So he did our draft without having to spin a wheel, which I don't know what that says for you, Michael, but glad to share that great minds think alike.
All right, so we have one more pick in this draft. We going to get to a 2-4-10-2 build?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we got to get to 10 wide receivers now that we know that you can't do that automatically on underdog.
we need to get, is Dubs still available? Yeah, we need to get Dubs.
Yeah, that works.
And then this draft finished up. Look at how lame this is. I've only done 10 puppies.
Ooh, I'm at 50, 60.
True grinder.
Me and Eagles just out there dealing with Dr. Trippin fucking ruining our drafts.
Yeah, Bullock, I need you to expand on that. I am glad I asked. I won't dox your girlfriend's driver's license. You said she could be watching. Be honest. What are it, would she be like, you guys are hanging out and you, because you watch all the streams, you just, catch some of it secondhand? Or are you telling me there's a chance independently that she caught splash play fever secondhand from you and would
There
be
are
watching this
women in
on
the
her own?
fantasy. I mean, I know. Well, you work with one of our favorite women, Cooter Doodle, who's very funny and good. But there are women in the fantasy community, and I know I'm not gonna spoil anything for anybody out there. But there are some girls in the Osmo community I know that perhaps might even have dated a personality or two from the
Yeah, I'm
Osmo.
not Spags. That's not my point in this. I'm talking about specifically Bullock's girlfriend watching this stream seems specifically unlikely to me.
I just like to believe they have similar interests as two 21-year-old kids falling in love, giving and exchanging driver's licenses as the kids do. Bullock better
They
not be back this
actually,
year.
now that would be, I mean, can you imagine a couple falling in love in the Splash Play chat and Spags and I co-officiating the wedding?
That'd be big. Can we get the Fantasy Football Expo to put us on stage?
I'm going to be at Mike's wedding the weekend of the Fantasy Football Expo. I will
I
not be
know, I
making it
know.
to this expo.
But what if there's a wedding? What if there's a wedding there too? Maybe you can do both. Oh man. Fun stream, guys. We
Don't.
appreciate all you guys hanging out. By the way, subscribe, of course, to Peach channel, to the Splash Play channel. Follow at Peter Overzet, follow at Chris Spags, follow at Splash Play Pod so you know when we go live next, which will be for us together Thursday, 2:30 Eastern.
All right, Spags. So these two teams are done. Why don't you give the people a quick recap of these two teams? This was our Anchor RB plus Onslaught team.
So you can see our Anchor RB build here. We went with that Carolina Tampa Bay correlation for week 17. We also took Jameis Winston to try to, in case we needed to get some more guys in to stack up with New Orleans. But Tampa Bay is the one that we hit with the QB plus 3 pass catcher or 3 teammate stacks. You can see the running back room here. Got solid floor with McCaffrey. Got some young guys. Rashad White, who is correlated with Tom Brady, of course. Tyler Algier, young running back to watch. And the wide receivers, I feel like pretty solid. Lots of initial names up top there with A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf. Built a solid team here, Pete.
Yeah, I like this team. And again, it is, I really do think it's a pretty rare occurrence where you could justify a 3 tight end build with Kyle Pitts. But I feel like Taysom Hill and Cameron Brate, where we're getting the the bizarre kind of alternative tight end correlation with our quarterbacks there, it actually seems to make a decent amount of sense to me here. So I like that one. And then our other one here that just wrapped up, let me refresh. This would have been our hyper fragile build with our early quarterback. And
Yeah,
why don't you recap this one?
Yeah. We got Josh Allen up top on this one. We took Stephon Diggs with our first round pick, locked into Gabriel Davis, auto-filling onto this team. But the anchor running backs, not the anchor running backs, the entire hyper-fragile room of running backs, Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, took a stab on Tyrion Davis Price late to fill out that running back room, get the 4th running back that you still probably want for your hyper-fragile builds. Tyrion Davis Price correlates well with the Vegas guys that we got, Jacobs, and also Hunter Renfrow. You can see that we got Diggs, Davis, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, of course, a proud USC Trojan, Hunter Renfrow, Tyler Boyd to complete that bring back for the Buffalo Cincinnati week 17 correlation. Jacoby Myers, New England, going to correlate well with Chase Edmonds, our running back from Miami, Donovan Peoples-Jones, John Mechie, Romeo Doubs, a lot of youth in this room, and then Rob Gronkowski, Irv Smith to back it out, and Gronk in particular, of course, Pete, completes our portfolio across these 2 drafts where we had Cameron Brate and the other one. So we're covered at tight end for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I will say I legitimately, aside from the chaos of trying to multi-table, I do think it's very fun exercises. I wouldn't do this in BBM3 just because those bullets are so precious, but experimenting and getting outside of the pockets that you get comfortable with, I think is really valuable. And saying, can I build logical structures in different ways, even if it's not the comfiest structure for me. So I like making these work. And, this hyper fragile build where we didn't do the textbook, first 3 running backs. I like how we made this work and we were able to build in some correlations, and the timeout gods, boy, did they shine nicely on us, because not one of those timeouts actually burned us too hard.
Yeah, and also I think just to attack on your point here before we jump off that filling up the puppy I think is a good move for yourself. If you're going to try to jam in a bunch of entries to Best Ball Mania, get your footing with the puppy now. You're going to run into some people like Dr. Drippin, who we talked about at the top, that's going to throw you for a curveball, but it's just going to get yourself that practice so you can have that going for when you are in the big tournament, competing against people who are going to be spending upwards of $3,000 or $4,000 on that tournament. So make sure you are practicing on the puppy now. Use the promo code SPLASH if you want to match your deposit up to $100 over an underdog now. Play along with us. Pete, any plugs for you here? What's coming up on the Pete content schedule?
Not too much, just usual schedule this week. The only wrinkle, mentioned it this morning, excited to launch the randomizer stream. That'll be kicking off Thursday night at 7 p.m. I'll announce the guests tomorrow. Actually have a production meeting for it right after this. So very excited about that, but otherwise all the usual stuff, CTS tomorrow, lulls, ship chasing, all that stuff.
I also think we got more views in Club Top Shot for the first time ever last week, which I don't keep that close to tabs to be totally candid, but I did notice it was like, yeah, finally.
That's what happens when you're in a best ball bull market and a crypto NFT bear market.
It always like the entire industry collapsing underneath your feet for us to get there. But we got there, guys. And of course, we'll be back here on Thursday, 2:30 Eastern for a combined stream. Pete and myself back one more time. Follow at Peter Overzet, follow at Chris Spags, follow at Splash Play Pod. Make sure you're also liked and subscribed on Pete's channel and the Splash Play channel, because the Splash Play channel is the home of my exclusive Friday solo streams that are going to get, I'm sure, even more insane as we go. We'll be back Thursday, so make sure you come join us then. And also check out Football Outsiders 2. Interesting article on best ball stacking on there on the homepage if you want to go take a look at that. Any final words, Pete? Or are we done?
We are done. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Bye, Liz.